I'm 11 years old when I'm following my father into a Christmas tree lot. These goddamn Christians and their stupid trees. Yeah, they really shouldn't cut them down. He proceeds to start assessing each tree for freshness, width of trunk, height. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. And he spends a lot of time doing that, and he eventually picks one out, and then he spends the next about 20 minutes or so trying to manhandle it onto the top of our Toyota 4Runner because he doesn't want to pay somebody to do it for him. And then he proceeds to get in the car, very angry, and says, "Well, I guess that'll do." And I'm looking at him, and it's two questions is, one, where did we get the money for this? And two, as Jews, why did we just buy a Christmas tree? I say Jews, although admittedly that's, it's a strong statement because despite the fact that we're Jewish by heritage, we don't actually celebrate really any of the holidays or anything. And for the previous 3 years, we'd gone to temple one time because my dad, who used to work at a bank, didn't want to work on Saturdays. And he thought his boss was following him, so we went to temple that Saturday to show his boss that he actually did go to temple on Saturdays. He no longer held that job. As we're driving away from the Christmas tree lot, though, my question about why we bought the Christmas tree was answered because we didn't drive home. We drove towards my dad's girlfriend's house. Girlfriend is a very loose term because my dad had dated this woman, Bonnie, shortly after high school. They had a very strong relationship at that point. They broke up. She moved away hundreds of miles, found a new husband, had 2 children, settled in a new life. But my dad never really gave up on Bonnie. And when I was 8, we went and visited her. He lied about his net worth, owning some property, his life and dreams. And he had convinced Bonnie to leave her husband, take her 2 children with her, and start a new life with him, or at least towards him. And so it seemed to me we were going to share Christmas with Bonnie that year, and we were bringing the tree. So we arrive at Bonnie's house, and we bring this dead bush as penance to enter. And we are immediately confronted with her 2 very rambunctious children who are 1 year younger than me, 1 year older than me, and 1 year younger than my sister, who's 2 years older than me. And these 2 kids are rather spoiled. Bonnie has some money. My dad has deception. And so these kids have lots of video games, lots of toys, baseball cards galore, everything that they could ever ask for and more. And they have a lot of energy, which means that they beat up on each other and therefore on me. And so when we get to Bonnie's house, we bring in the tree. They don't help. And so it's my sister and myself carrying this dead bush into their living room. And as the 2 Jews, we don't know what to do with it. So we kind of just stand it up, lean it against a wall, and like, is that how it works? Apparently not. You have to have a stand or something. I really didn't get into it then. But Jason, the younger of the 2 children, says, "That tree looks pathetic." And my dad feels a little offended by this. He thought he had picked out a really good one, and he didn't. He actually picked out, the Charlie Brown Christmas tree type tree, kind of leaning over, has one branch sticking off to the side. And so we proceed to start decorating this paltry pine, and Jason is just really distraught. He's like, "I'm not going to decorate that tree." Tom, on the other hand, the older brother, starts running around the house, smacking my sister's butt, yelling "Merry Christmas" every time his hand hits cheek. And it's a real fun experience for everyone involved, particularly my sister. Bonnie, in the meantime, is in the kitchen, and she's finishing up with dinner. And she had proceeded to make a very large ham. So I suggest that we all light the menorah because it is still Hanukkah, and my sister and I feel like that would be something fun. Well, Bonnie's clan absolutely refuses. "No, we're not going to have damn Jewish stuff here." Oh, so we could come to your house with a tree and set it up, but we can't do what is meaningful to us. And looking back on that now, I understand why, because we didn't actually know what any of the prayers meant, so it really wouldn't have meant anything for them if we had lit the menorah and then said of these prayers, and then they asked us, well, what was that about? And we're like, I don't know. So instead, we decided that we're going to open gifts. And Bonnie's clan, like I said, they have a lot of money, so they start getting all of these like skateboards and cool Lego sets and super video game systems and everything. And we, on the other hand, despite the fact that my dad had lied to Bonnie about his net worth, he failed to follow up that deception with a way to demonstrate his largesse by giving my sister and I really cool gifts. Instead, what he did is he took the gifts that my mom, who he had divorced the previous year, had sent us through him to his P.O. box, and took the card off and wrote on the wrapping paper from Dad. And my gift that night was a penny racer, which was the little car where you stick a penny in the back and the wheels spin. So Jason got, this Nintendo game set pile, which was about that big. I got a penny racer. I was like, yes, this is awesome. My penny racer moves. His cartridges don't move unless you pick them up. And honestly, they get dusty and you have to blow on them and stuff. And that's just kind of weird. Well, Jason then, though, he thinks my penny racer is cool. So he runs off with it. Bonnie then says, it's time for dinner. And so we then are confronted with this very large ham. I had never seen one before. My sister was like, what the hell is that? But admittedly, having eaten microwave spaghetti for the previous 3 months, basically, I was willing to try it. So I say, well, can I have some ham? And my sister says, well, if you eat that, you're not Jewish anymore. I said, well, I don't see how that's possible. So I proceed to carve off a slice and put it in my mouth, and she screams, you're no longer a Jew! I'm like, yeah, I am. I just wanted something different than spaghetti. My dad's kind of silent there for a little while. He doesn't quite know what to do with the situation. Bonnie feels bad. She's like, oh, I should have thought to make something other than ham. I'm like, yeah, you really should have. And my sister really went ballistic. She's like, we came here and you're no longer Jewish and this whole thing's horrible and I hate you, Bonnie. And so my dad takes me by the arm and he says, you are a Jew. And he takes my sister by the arm and he says, you're horrible. We're getting out of here. And he leaves without even saying goodbye to Bonnie. And he takes us in the car and we drive away. And I'm thinking in the car, it's like, I don't understand why I'm not Jewish. Shoot, Jason still has my penny racer. And that was really weird. And I came away from that experience not appreciating Christmas. I didn't like it. It didn't seem like a fun holiday to me. It seemed to me that, but it wasn't really the religion part of it that was the bad part. To me, it was kind of my dad's insecurity about not having any money. It was my sister's insecurity about not knowing how to be Jewish enough. And it was Bonnie's, inability to foresee the fact that ham probably wasn't the best meal to serve, and her kids just being jerks. So I didn't really think, okay, the religion isn't the driving force here. And so many years later, actually 15 years later, after I met my wife, she took me to a holiday function for Easter at her family's house. And it was a gathering where the family was really close. They had a lot of fun. There were lots of laughs, tons of good food, including a very large ham, which was delicious. And her little cousin, Nathan, who I think at the time was 8, maybe, he wasn't a very outgoing sort of guy. He's kind of shy. But for some reason, he took to me. And he took me by the hand, and he took me to the room where they had the trays of candy and cookies. And he showed me where all that was, and he showed me the cookie that he liked most, and he handed me one. And I was like, wow, that's pretty neat. So I came away from that experience being like, well, holidays aren't about the religion part of it. It's about being together with people you love, eating lots of really good food, and laughing. And that's what I feel like at every holiday now. No matter who it is I'm with, as long as I get to eat a lot and laugh, I'm happy.